Basics of Entrepreneurship, Student Version, Practical Learning Online, Course Pl-1, PowerPoint Narration. Welcome to the Basics of Entrepreneurship. The Basics of Entrepreneurship course is an introductory course for students from middle grades through high school. The course introduces the student to the basic principles of self-employment using a variety of resources and academic disciplines. The objectives of this course are as follows. 1. To introduce the user to entrepreneurship and some of the tools needed to start their own business one day. And 2. To allow the user through practical applications, for example case studies, to work on critical analysis, decision making, and research skills needed to be successful in any life endeavor. While many entrepreneurship courses are more detailed on different types of issues, this course, and it should be understood, is basically a course to introduce a student, grades 6 through 12, to the basic principles of becoming an entrepreneur. At a later date, courses will be developed or put online that will be more specific and get into what we call the nitty-gritty of being a small business owner. As you can see from the course syllabus, we start off with an introduction. Lesson 1, Employee or Entrepreneur. Lesson 2, Entrepreneurship. Lesson 3, the 5 steps to entrepreneurship. Lesson 4, the idea. Lesson 5, the plan. Lesson 6, resources. Lesson 7, determination. And Lesson 8, patience. Before proceeding, I'd like to let you know that if you're looking at the website, which you should be while doing the course, you can also get the full text of the Lesson 1 PowerPoint presentation by clicking on Assignment 1 Reading PowerPoint presentation on the site. Okay, let us begin with Lesson 1. There will come a point in your life where you will want to provide your own support rather than have someone else support you. For example, today you probably live in your parents' home, or a sister's house, or maybe another relative who provides you with food, clothing, transportation, and other things that are critical for you to maintain your livelihood. One day you will get old enough where you will have to do this for yourself. And when that day comes, you will have to make a key decision. That decision is, do you want to be an employee or an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is one who organizes, manages, and assumes the risk of a business or enterprise. And please note that any definitions that we go over during this lecture are found in Assignment 2 on the web page. You should study these words because we will quiz you later on them. These words are very, very important in the course Basics of Entrepreneurship. At this point, I would also like to point out that any red text that is seen in the presentation is usually a definition that's important and can also be found under Assignment 2 on the website or web page under words you should know. Let's move forward and talk about an employee. An employee is a person who is hired to provide services to an employer on a regular basis in exchange for compensation or pay, and who does not provide these services as part of an independent business. For example, when you go out and get a job, you are an employee. You may go work for McDonald's or a retail store like JCPenney's, and as an employee, you are paid either one of two ways. An employee can be either a salary employee or a wage employee. A wage employee or hourly employee is paid at a set rate for the number of hours worked. The average work week for an hourly employee is 40 hours. A salaried employee is paid a set amount over a given time period, regardless of the number of hours they work. So as a salaried employee, for example, as a manager, you would get paid, say, $500 a week, whether you worked 40 hours or 80 hours. The following are examples of the different type of employees. Look it over. One talks about an hourly wage employee, while the other a salary employee. Both are basic multiplication problems that you should be able to figure out yourself. Study this for a few seconds. As mentioned earlier, an employer is a person, a company, or organization that hires people to work for them. Examples of an employer are a restaurant that hires people to work for them, a school that hires teachers, a hospital that hires a nurse or a doctor. Sometimes employers are the same as an entrepreneur or small business owner. Can you think of employers out there in your area or community? Or maybe the employer that your parents or someone in your family works for? The relationship between an employee and an employer is a contract. A contract is a legal binding agreement between two parties. In this contract, you agree to perform the duties the employer wants you to do, and the employer agrees to pay you for performing these duties. Read the example below of a contract between an employer and employee. In this example, the grocery store pays the employee $7 an hour to work for them. The grocery store has a contract with you to pay the employee $7 for every hour they work. On the other hand, you have a contract with them that you will accept the $7 for the work you do for them. You must also abide by the rules of that employer. Generally, if an employee does not perform the duty that is agreed upon with the employer can dismiss or fire the employee. If a person does a job or is fired from the job, they are considered unemployed. Unemployed, a person who is not employed. If you decide that you want to be an employee and work for someone else, then you are considered entering the job market. The job market is the demand for particular jobs. The job market consists of millions of people out there looking for a job and the millions of employers looking for workers. If you decide you want to work for someone, then you will be competing with all the other people in the job market for jobs. The type of job you get and the amount of money you can make on a job depend on how much work you put into preparing yourself for the job market. Like any competition, the person who is the most prepared will probably get a job. Sometimes it takes years of training to get some jobs, and sometimes the employer will train you. Most studies suggest that people with the most education get the best jobs and earn the most money on their job over their lifetime. One way to be more prepared for a job is to get more education. More education can be called getting a graduate degree. A graduate degree is an advanced degree you get from college relating to a specific subject or major. If you are lucky and well prepared, you may get a job in an area that you like or you have prepared for. Many factors control the job market, and because of that, you may not get a job in your area you like or that you have prepared for. Market forces such as the demand for a certain type of job and the need by employers for work can affect whether you find a job or not. Remember, the main reason for getting a job is to be able to support yourself and your family.